All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here with us on our YouTube channel. If you're new to the YouTube channel, feel free to browse over the 3 semesters of free material we have for the wisdom of Kabbalah. And if you like what you hear, what you see, you're more than welcome to visit our website, Kabbalah.info, and join like-minded people at the Kabyu Academy if you wish to study and learn the wisdom of Kabbalah. In the interim, though, what we're going to do is we're going to carry on with where we left off, and we are on excerpt number 2 from lesson number 4, raising a prayer for Lishma. And this is an excerpt from Shamati, article number 5. If you have any questions, as usual, feel free to shoot them through the regular channels, and we'll try to find answers together as we go through. So let's get started already. So excerpt number 2 from lesson number 4. It's an excerpt from Shamati, article number 5. Lishma is an awakening from above, and why do we need an awakening from below? The need for man's work in order to receive the Lishma from the Creator is only in the form of a lack and a kli. Yet, one can never obtain the filling by himself. This is rather a gift from the Creator. However, the prayer must be a complete prayer from the bottom of the heart. This means that one knows 100% that there's no one in the world who can help him but the Creator himself. Yet, how does one know this? That no one will help him but the Creator himself. One can acquire the awareness precisely if he has exerted all the powers at his disposal and it did not help him. Thus, one must do every possible thing in the world to attain for the sake of the Creator. Then one can pray from the bottom of the heart, and then the Creator hears his prayer. All right, let's read that again. We'll go sentence by sentence. The need for man's work in order to receive the Lishma, which is Lishma, to bestow, to bestow to the Creator, which means to bestow without any self-benefit from the Creator, is only in the form of a lack and a kli, a vessel. So the study of the wisdom of Kabbalah, the work that we do in the group, should give us a need, a lack for a vessel to attain Lishma, just to bestow for the sake of the Creator. Yet one can never obtain the filling by himself. It is rather a gift from the Creator. So the only thing we can really do is actually basically come to a prayer, because at the end of the day, the lack, the need is a prayer, isn't it? The vessel. So that's the only thing that our work should really bring us to. If we come to the right prayer, the right deficiency, then we should be fulfilled with the light. However, the prayer must be a complete prayer from the bottom of the heart. Now, complete prayer means that I don't have any other room for any other desire. It's really important to understand, simply because a person has many desires. But if we want to ask for something like Lishma, to come to a higher state of consciousness above our desire to receive for ourselves, then we cannot have any other desire. This means that one knows 100% that there's no one in the world who can help him but the Creator himself. And that is the state we need to get to. And how does one know this? That no one will help him but the Creator himself? One can acquire that awareness precisely if he has exerted all the powers at his disposal and it did not help him. So this is why our work really in the wisdom of Kabbalah takes a very, very long time. And almost all the students, all of us, when we start the wisdom of Kabbalah, we've got this big drive to move forward and to push and to push and push. However, though, as we crunch through the years, we understand that we're going to need a lot more grit to go past this threshold. Because a person's growth spiritually, in terms of wanting to come to a state where the only thing he wants is to bestow, is like a child growing up. So it requires a lot of effort. It requires a lot of time for a person to understand that no matter what he does, this is not going to work out. And he needs the help of something that is beyond his own nature. And the only thing beyond human nature in existence is the nature of the Creator. So he understands that there's nobody else that can help him except the Creator. Thus, one must do every possible thing in the world to attain for the sake of the Creator. Until we get to such a thing, understanding, and thus a desire, as it writes here, a person really needs to give everything he or she has. There's no other way. Then one can pray from the bottom of the heart, and then the Creator hears his prayer, because there's nothing else left to do. And that's a state we need to come to. Like I said, it'll take us a long time. Just like it takes kids to grow, it takes a long time. So for a person. Excerpt number 3. This is from Shamati number 20, Lishma. Lishma means for the sake of the Creator. Concerning Lishma, for her sake, in order for a person to obtain Lishma, one needs an awakening from above, as it is an illumination from above, and it is not for the human mind to understand. Rather, he who tastes knows. It is said about this, taste and see that the Lord is good. Because of this, upon assuming the burden of the kingdom of heaven, one needs it to be in utter completeness, meaning only to bestow and not at all to receive. If a person sees that the organs do not agree with this view, he has no other choice but prayer, to pour out his heart to the Creator, to help him make his body consent to enslaving himself to the Creator. All right, let's read it the second time. Concerning for her sake, for the sake of the Creator, that is, in order for a person to obtain Lishma, so that one needs an awakening from above, as it is an illumination from above, and is not for the human mind to understand. Now, the reason we can never just simply awaken out of our animate nature to bestowal is because it is above our nature. So if a person, only if a person, and only if a person is awakened from above, which means a person begins to question the meaning of his life, does he have a chance to really advance and to come to this understanding? All right, so rather he who tastes knows. It is said about this, taste and see that the Lord is good. Okay. Also, when we come to the wisdom of Kabbalah, if you think about it, before we come, we're just living a regular life. Now, everybody's on the street, everybody's at their work, family, whatever you're doing with your life, you're just living a normal life. But inside of you, you got this question, obviously. That question is the thing that brings a person to search. Search about the meaning of life. What am I doing here? What am I living for? Who created me? What is all this for anyway? All these questions that are kind of popping up inside a person is very, very important, because these are all signs that he's being awakened. Okay, so we can say the rest of humanity is just sleeping and dreaming, or inside a dream state, simply because they're living day in and day out, and soon they will all die, as if they've never lived. We can see that on previous generations as well. They were born, they lived, they died, as if for no reason. Because of this, upon assuming the burden of the kingdom of heaven, one needs it to be in utter completeness, meaning only to bestow and not at all to receive. So once a person starts to study the wisdom of Kabbalah and is serious about it, so is pushing forward, then he needs to be in utter completeness. That means that he just wants to come to this state of bestowal. Now, we don't know what bestowal is. We've got no idea, because in our world, we're all reception. The only thing we want in our world is to use this life to fulfill ourselves for our own benefit. So we have no idea at all about bestowal, what the Creator is, who He is, what He wants from us, nothing. So from this reception, the receiving nature, we have to come to a state where we really want to get out of reception. If a person sees that the organs do not agree with his view, he has no other choice but prayer. So the organs that are not agreeing with this is my whole being. Organs are usually referred to as the desires of a person. So as we try to bestow more to others and invest more in the love of others, the body, our desire to receive with all its parts, starts to raise a mutiny. It doesn't want to carry on because there's no benefit in bestowal. Our nature wants to receive. So if we're going to be working to come to a state where we want to do things without receiving anything, the body all of a sudden goes mad and does not want to go along with this. So then the person has nothing but left to do except to pray to the Creator, because we cannot overcome our own nature. And that is the whole idea. All of the effort that we're putting in the wisdom of Kabbalah is to really come to the understanding that there is nothing we can do against our nature. And this allows a person to turn to the Creator. And that's the whole idea. A person can now, from within his nature, turn to the Creator and pour his heart out. This is a very interesting state, because a person feels like really in an inner conflict. It's like you're split in two, and inside of you there are two forces, or there are two kind of personalities or characters that really are fighting it out. So he has to pour his heart to the Creator to help him make his body consent to enslaving itself to the Creator. Now, Creator means the attribute of bestowal. When we're talking about us, we're talking about an attribute to receive pleasure for our self-benefit. When we're talking about the Creator, we're talking about the attribute of bestowal that is working with the principle of the love of others and has no personal self-benefit expectation whatsoever. And that's it. Excerpt number 4. This is from Baal HaSulam, Shamati 79. Atzlut and Bia. Bia are the words Bria, Yitzra, and Asya. Okay? So let's see what we have here. One should come to learn Lishma for the sake of the Torah, meaning that the Torah will teach him the ways of the Creator. And then he should first make the sweetening of Malchut in Bina, which means that he elevates Malchut, called the will to receive, to Bina, which is considered bestowal. That is, that all his work will be only in order to bestow. And then it becomes dark for him. He feels that the world has grown dark on him, since the body gives strength to work only in the form of reception and not in the form of bestowal. In that state, he has but one choice: to pray to the Creator to open his eyes so he can work in the manner of bestowal. That is the meaning of who stands for the question. It refers to Bina, called May, water. And the question comes from the verse asking about the rains, meaning prayer, since they arrive to the state of water of Bina. There's room to pray for it. All right, so let's read that again. One should come to learn Lishma for the sake of the Torah, meaning that the Torah will teach him the ways of the Creator, right? So this is pure bestowal. So we want to learn the ways of the Creator, which is to bestow. And then he should first make the sweetening of Malkut in Bina, which means that he elevates Malkut, called the will to receive, to Bina. So our nature is a will to receive. We have to elevate it to a level called Bina, which means I'm completely above my desire to receive for myself. And that's called Bina, which is considered bestowal. It's not active bestowal. This is why it's called considered bestowal. Right? Because I'm above the will to receive, so at least I'm not receiving for self-benefit. Okay, that's why it's considered bestowal, but it's not like active bestowal. That is that all his work will be only in order to bestow. So all the things I do should always be above my personal benefit and gain. And then it becomes dark for him. Well, if we work in this way, the only thing that can happen is darkness. Why? Because we're not getting any light in the will to receive. Okay, we're kind of like shut down everything. We're not doing anything for self-benefit. So the whole will to receive is now dark. There's no light. We're refusing to literally get anything. So that is complete darkness. He feels that the world has grown dark on him, since the body gives strength to work only in the form of reception and not in the form of bestowal. In that state, he has but one choice: to pray to the Creator to open his eyes so he can work in the manner of bestowal. Now, after the state of Bina, one has to use again the vessels of bestowal, but in order to bestow. Okay, because our nature is a desire to receive. Accordingly, we cannot act in any other way, except we can use the will to receive in order to bestow. Our natural state is to be a will to receive in order to receive for self-benefit. So then we have to now, once we're above the desire to receive, and we've raised ourselves above all our desire to receive for ourselves, that's called the state of Bina. Now we have to use the same desires with the intention to bestow to others. And that is actually the state of bestowing, when I'm using my will to receive in order to bestow to the Creator. And this is the meaning of who stands for the question. It refers to Bina, called water. And the question comes from the verse asking about the rains, meaning the prayer. Since they arrive to the state of water of Bina, there's room to pray for it. So basically, a person is still, once he's above his desire to receive, he must now want to use his desire to receive in order to bestow. And that kind of a prayer is called asking for water. Right? So imagine they're going out and praying for the rain. Okay, so what we want to do is now fill the vessels of reception. We still want to fill them, but not for self-benefit, personal benefit, but to bestow to the Creator. So that is a completely different thing, because raising ourselves from Malchut to Bina is already splitting ourselves from, like, separating our intention to receive for myself from the desire to receive. So now I'm like in two states. I've got the desire to receive, which will never change. Our nature will always be the desire to receive pleasure, but I'm kind of extracting the intention for myself from the will to receive. And now I've got two states. I've got the intention for myself, and I've got the desire to receive. Now, if I go above all of the intentions for myself, and if I keep going above any intention for self-benefit, I'll, at the end of the day, raise myself above all the desire to receive for myself and get to a state of Bina. But like I said, Bina is still, it's considered bestowal, but it's not the action of bestowal. It is just being above my egoistic benefit. So from there, we need to move forward further and then use every desire I've elevated myself upon in order to bestow. And that is the second phase of correction. This is why our path is two main roads, right? Two main levels, let's say. One is Bina, raising Malkut to Bina, going above all the desire to receive for myself. And the second part is going from Bina to Chokhmah, to use the vessels of reception in order to bestow and to fill the vessels with 100% light. Excerpt number 5. This is from Rabash, article 24. What does it mean that one should bear a son and a daughter in the work? When a person prevails and asks for help from the Creator, after he has decided that he has a harm doer in his heart called will to receive, and that he cannot emerge from it, meaning after going through several ascents and descents, he finally sees that he has remained bare and destitute. At that time, his prayer is from the bottom of the heart. That is, he sees that if the Creator does not help him, he cannot overcome it. Let's read that again. When a person prevails and asks for help from the Creator, after he has decided that he has a harm doer in his heart called will to receive, and that he cannot emerge from it, meaning after going through several ascents and descents, he finally sees that he has remained bare and destitute. At that time, his prayer is from the bottom of the heart. That is, he sees that if the Creator does not help him, he cannot overcome it. So this is, again, pretty much what we studied above. Okay? When a person prevails and asks for help from the Creator, why does he have to prevail in asking for help from the Creator? Because actually it's quite difficult to ask for help from the Creator. It's very hard for the will to receive to genuinely ask from the Creator to want the vessel of bestowal, or to want the power to bestow. Let's say it's the same thing. Okay. At the end of the day, a desire is a force. And this is really, really hard. So a person really needs to kind of like batter himself in order to get to that prayer. After he has decided that he has a harm doer in his heart called the will to receive, and that he cannot emerge from it, meaning after going through several ascents and descents. Well, it says several ascents and descents, but it's like several thousands of ascents and descents. Because the path is long, the person's always going through inner turmoil. So on the path, there are many descents. He finally sees that he has remained bare and destitute, meaning helpless. There is no way I can convince my nature to change from reception to bestowal. It's just not going to happen. And at that time, his prayer is from the bottom of the heart. So that's the kind of realization we need to get to really pray from the bottom of the heart. It means the bottom of the heart means I've built a really big vessel. So I'm like really full-heartedly, wholeheartedly praying for a change. That is, he sees that if the Creator does not help him, he cannot overcome it. Okay, so this is the state sometimes they write in the book of in Kabbalistic texts. I think we had one in Baal HaSulam's article where a person really decides that, you know what, if I'm not going to attain bestowal, I don't care if I die. I'm just like done, beat. That's it, end of story. Okay? A person just doesn't care anymore because in his desire to receive, he really feels like he's dead. So he says death is like better than living in this current state. That's also a discernment that we should get to on the path. All right, excerpt number 6. This is from Shamati number 19. What is the Creator hates? The bodies in the work. There is room for work precisely when the will to receive awakens. Then one has close contact with the Creator to help him turn the will to receive to work in order to bestow. And one must believe that from this extends contentment to the Creator. From his praying to him to draw him near in the manner of adhesion, called equivalence of form, discerned as the annulment of the will to receive, so it is in order to bestow. The Creator says about this, my sons defeated me. That is, I gave you the will to receive, and you asked me to give you a desire to bestow instead. Okay, let's go through that again. There's room for work precisely when the will to receive awakens. So as we work, as we progress, and we're spending more and more time studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, we should see that the will to receive is growing stronger. So the more we study, the bigger the will to receive should be. Okay? We should have a bigger desire to receive, and that's natural, normal, and that's just how it is. Then one has close contact with the Creator to help him turn the will to receive to work in order to bestow. One must believe that from this extends contentment to the Creator, from his praying to him to draw him near in the manner of adhesion called equivalence of form. So Baal HaSulam is saying here that when a person really wants to change and get rid of his selfishness, that the Creator is actually happy from this situation because a person wants to change for the better. It's like us being happy when our children want to better themselves. Discerned as the annulment of the will to receive, so it is in order to bestow. So if we ask the Creator to annul the will to receive, this actually makes the Creator happy. So we should actually come to such a state as a result of the work. We can't obviously just repeat it verbally. Just verbally reciting things like they do in religions when they're reading prayer books or engaging whatever they engage in with lip service is really not what we're looking for in the wisdom of Kabbalah. This is why in the previous excerpts we read on a few occasions that a prayer must be full-hearted, wholeheartedly. Right? So this is really important. A person must really, through the work, come to a discernment that he really wants to change, sincerely wants to change. And if he does that, then the Creator says, my sons defeated me. That is, I gave you the will to receive, and you asked me to give you a desire to bestow instead. Excerpt number 7. This is from Rabash, article number 40. What is for you are the least of all the people in the work. A person sees that there is no way that he will be able to work with the desire to bestow, and not for his own sake. Such a thing can happen only through a miracle from above. And indeed, this is called the exodus from Egypt, meaning to emerge from the mind he has by nature, where it is impossible to move unless he enjoys it. Conversely, here he is asking the Creator to give him the strength to work where he has no feeling or flavor, but to believe that the Creator enjoys this work, since it is all in order to bestow. For this reason, this prayer is an honest prayer, since the person sees that he cannot hope to ever be able to do anything in order to bestow. It follows that a person feels that he is lost. At that time, he has close contact with the Creator, and this is something that a person should appreciate, that he is asking the Creator to help him, and there's no one in the world who can save him. So let's read it again. A person sees that there is no way that he will be able to work with the desire to bestow and not for his own sake. All right, so once again here, a person sees. And we have to come to a state where we see that we just cannot work in order to bestow. Such a thing can happen only through a miracle from above. So it takes a lot of work for a person to come to see the truth that he cannot do anything to bestow. And indeed, this is called the exodus from Egypt, meaning to emerge from the mind he has by nature, where it's impossible to move unless he enjoys it. Conversely, here he is asking the Creator to give him the strength to work, where he has no feeling or flavor, but to believe that the Creator enjoys this work, since it is all in order to bestow. All right, so this is also very important. A person in Egypt comes to a state where he's really working in order to bestow, but has absolutely no taste. And he's okay working like that. He's happy to work like that. Why? Because he's happy to work like that because he wants to get to the goal. If he can work without any reception, he is literally raising himself above his desire to receive. So on the one hand, there's no pleasure, no light, but on the other hand, he's not sad about it because the goal is illuminating from afar. All right. For this reason, this prayer is an honest prayer, since the person sees that he cannot hope to ever be able to do anything in order to bestow. All right, so he understands that he can't bestow, and he's okay with it. He's okay with that, and that's fine. He's hoping that the Creator is happy with that, and that's the important thing. It follows that a person feels that he is lost, meaning he doesn't know what's going on. Okay, so he's lost, which means he's not in bestowal and he's not in reception, because he's got no pleasure from reception. He's got no pleasure from bestowal. He's got nothing. Okay, and that's a state where he's completely lost. And at that time, he has close contact with the Creator. And this is something that a person should appreciate. Why? Because he's above his desire to receive. It may not be felt solidly in the person, but he feels much closer because he's not chasing his desire to receive for himself. Okay? And that's the feeling of closeness. So he doesn't care about fulfilling himself. That's already very close. And he's asking the Creator to help him, and there's no one in the world who can save him. So that's a solid understanding we need to get to. And here we've got excerpt number 8 from letter number 9. One who sees one's lowliness, sees that he is treading the path leading to the work Lishma. This gives one room for real prayer from the bottom of the heart, when he sees that no one will help him but the Creator himself, as Baal HaSulam interpreted concerning the redemption from Egypt. I and not a messenger. For everyone saw that only the Creator himself redeemed them from the governance of evil. And when rewarded with the work Lishma, there's certainly nothing to be proud of, because then one sees that it is only God's gift and not my power and the might of my hand. Okay, let's read it again. One who sees one's lowliness. So one has to really see how the desire to receive for oneself is bad. All right, it's like really the low of the low. And he sees that he's treading the path leading to the work Lishma. Okay, so the more I see myself as bad, actually I am going more forward in bestowing. Why? Because I'm getting closer to a prayer. Okay, if I don't feel bad, I'm not going to pray. Okay, so on the path, the Creator really, really needs to show the person how evil one's nature is. And accordingly, he's advancing on the path. This gives one room for real prayer from the bottom of the heart when he sees that no one will help him but the Creator himself. So once again, he comes to the realization that one cannot change one's nature. As Baal HaSulam interpreted concerning the redemption from Egypt, I am not a messenger, for everyone saw that only the Creator himself redeemed them from the governance of evil. So only the Creator can save a person from his self-reception, his ego, self-love, and get him out of that egoism. And when rewarded with the work Lishma, there's certainly nothing to be proud of, because then one sees that it is only God's gift and not my power and the might of my hand. So we have to understand that there are no guarantees, right? There is no Kabbalist that gives a person a guarantee that you're gonna, get to the goal. And this is exactly the sensation, because it really feels like it's a gift. Despite the fact that a person really toiled for it, but he toils for the vessel, to build the vessel. Okay? So that's his work. And whether he gets it or not is another story. And that's about it. Since we don't have any questions, we'll leave that for another evening. All right, and I think we've finished all this. And next week, I think we're starting from Shamati 1, right? Okay, great. All right, in the interim, have a good evening. And if all goes well, we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.